This third and final video about provision for cycling in Utrecht and the lessons we can draw from it is specifically about infrastructure, starting with cycle lanes. And there's a complete network of cycle lanes in Utrecht. Some of them are just painted lanes like this one, but generally they're wider than they would be in the UK, and planners aren't afraid to leave less road space in the middle for vehicles, so that often two vehicles coming in opposite directions have to negotiate their way past each other rather than passing easily. And that tends to reduce the speed that they travel at. You can see that black VW would have had to slow down if there was something coming in the opposite direction. There's a potential problem with this cycle lane because it's right next to a row of parked cars, so you could be hit by a car door as it opens, but the lane's a bit wider than it would be in the UK, so you can ride a bit further from the cars, and probably people are more aware when they're opening their car doors. A bit further from the city centre there are some real top quality two-way bike lanes, like this one near the university out of campus. This is really into Mr. Ambassador, you're really spoiling us territory. There are also roads without cycle lanes, like here on Prince Hendriklaan, but still it feels safe, and far more people use this road on bikes than they do in cars. There's this rather strange hump in the middle of the road, and I don't know exactly why that's there, but vehicles usually have to straddle it when they're overtaking cyclists, and probably that slows them down a bit and makes their trajectory a bit more predictable. Next we'll see a cycle lane with a curb, which is great for cycling next to fairly fast-moving traffic. This is a gold standard, and it would be very helpful in the UK to encourage cyclists who don't like mixing with fast-moving traffic. This is a left turn, which is the awkward one in the Netherlands because you're turning across oncoming traffic. I'm not sure the sign is particularly helpful. It's not very clear, and most people seem to ignore it and just do the best they can. But I guess no city is perfect. This is a junction with an advanced stop zone or cycle box. There's a risk at this sort of junction of a right hook, where the vehicle doesn't see a cyclist as it's turning right and drives into them. In fact, the infrastructure here is identical to what it would be in the UK, the only difference being that the lane leading up to the box is much more generous in the space that it gives. And I suppose the other difference from the UK is that the vehicle does respect the cyclist box, it doesn't drive into it. In this case the cyclists choose to go a lot further forward than the box, and anyway, when the lights change everyone gets away safely. If we have a little look at roundabouts now, this is a classic Dutch roundabout where the cyclists get the outside of the roundabout and the vehicles the middle, and then when vehicles are leaving the roundabout they give way to cyclists. This is just at 2 times normal speed. This roundabout is a bit more innovative, with use of posts and curbs to keep cyclists separate from the rest of the traffic when they're entering and leaving the roundabout. And this is another interesting junction where a bike lane crosses a road and the cars give way to the bike lane. Finally, there are some very low speed limits in central areas with narrow streets, and these are combined with cobbles, which tend to make people drive more slowly. You can probably tell that I got shaken around a bit by these cobbles on a street by the Utrecht canal. Then there are more cobbles on narrow streets just near the cathedral in the centre.